Eighth grade, what's up? Mr. Schaefer here. Welcome back to Pod. Hopefully these videos are working out all right for us. So let's get right into our announcements and reminders. I figured during this time, I'm going to try to always highlight part of our future-ready goals that we have for you. Remember, our school goal is to turn you into or help you become these sort of students, all right? And you say, what's future-ready? Think of the Beavers acronym. So the B stands for people who are builders and leaders. We talked briefly about this before, but the leader part, we want somebody who is not afraid to be out in front. When they believe in a cause or something that's important to them, they're not going to wait around and see what the crowd's doing. They're going to be out front as a leader in that situation. And then builders are interested in making a better, brighter future for everybody, and also not pushing anybody down. They build people up. They make the environment around them better. Those are the future-ready students we're trying to make you or help you become. We always have some COVID talk around here. So just remember, as we're trying to stay out of the red, and we are in yellow, and it could turn red eventually, we don't know, but we have to do our part by continuing to wear masks wherever you are. Hey, unless you're away from everybody or you're taking a quick break when you're not by someone or you're eating, those masks should be on. You guys are doing pretty good about that. A few of you still need reminded a little bit. The other thing to be aware of, yes, we're staying distant in the hall, but when you have the sniffles or a sore throat or something like that, could be a cold, could be anything, you need to be erring on the side of caution. If you don't know that phrase, it means be extra careful. Some of you guys know that I stayed home on Monday, which is one of my first sick days in a long time. And normally I would have just pushed through that because it felt like a cold. And a day of rest helped me feel better, and my symptoms went away, and so that's smart. If you have contact with somebody with COVID, let us know. We can help what you're supposed to do, but it is a team effort working together to keep us here. So please do your part, all right? Let's talk student council. So just a reminder, we're looking to fill 5 people in those positions in your grade that are interested in helping your grade leave a legacy here, make the school better, help out. Hey, if that describes you, please consider running for president, VP, secretary, girls rep, or boys rep. Speaking of the timeline for yours, so petitions were available Friday. So now that I don't physically see you in pod, I don't know that we always talk about these things, and I don't know that we've been announcing them. So we need more people for 8th grade. So your petitions were actually due yesterday. I'm giving you one more day to try to get more people to run. So that means that you need to have your petitions taken from Mrs. Buck today. Go get them now from right after homeroom is over and get them signed and get running for those offices. Because honestly, I have to call you guys out. This grade has won 2 Pride Week contests. We think of you guys as being very involved and very good kids, and you are. You guys are being a little sad right here. Is there really people that don't want to step up and make this grade even better? I hope so. I think they're out there. So whether you ran before or you haven't, let's get some more people out there because you want the 6th grade and 7th grade to have more of a say on the fun things that we do and the direction the school goes. Okay, because if you don't have 5 people, there'll be more lower grades on there than you. Okay, so today, get a petition. If you're wondering what's something that we haven't had anybody running for, let me know. Okay, but we need to get those signed and get rolling because pretty soon, Friday, is supposed to be when posters can go up, and then next Thursday is when we'll do our speeches. So come on, guys. You guys have been awesome since I've known you. Who's the 5 people that are going to be leading you to the promised land in high school? I want to see who it's going to be. So I challenge you to do that, all right? From last week, you heard about our focus for this year in pod. The 6 big decisions, okay? The 6 important decisions that will really alter the course of your life that you may have to make big choices on or little daily type choices, all right? So just a reminder, we're talking about school, friends, this is fun to point that way, parents, over there, okay, a fly flew by right there, dating and sex, yes, both things, possible addictions and avoiding them, and your self-worth, all right? I think next week we hop into school choices that will be relevant to you. But in that book, Sean Covey makes the point of writing his first chapter about 7 habits. And he said, you don't have to have read this book to make this next one relevant for you and that you understand how to use the power of it. But he said it's nice to have at least a basic understanding. So I don't have to reteach you because you know this already. So we're just going to do a really quick review about the 7 habits, and there'll be a kind of foundation for our discussions in pod this year. Sound good? You're not actually here, so I'll just assume that you said yes. Yes, Mr. Schaefer. All right, cool. Let's go on. I want to talk briefly about habits, and for whatever reason, probably because it's fall, And part of me still always thinks about football and fall. So habits are those things you do often that you kind of eventually do without thinking, okay? And so this is a lot of football jargon, but I'm gonna make it pretty brief for you. So in coaching and as a player, the thing I did most often was play defensive back, all right? And there's this pass route, if you know what that is. It's called the post corner. So it's kind of a double move, as they call it. So the receiver will try to make you think, as you backpedal to try to cover him, that he's going inside on a post route, okay? And so you're backpedaling, and you go to that post route, and you turn your hips, and you try to break to the downfield shoulder of that post. The tricky thing is this receiver is actually going to turn and go back that way, all right? So as you've already opened your hips and you have to go back that way, this habit is key. If you turn your hips open this way and run with them, you have a chance to get to his downfield shoulder again, all right? If you have broke this way and you try to turn all the way back around, he's beat you. And this route is a killer. Gave up a lot of touchdowns as a coach. Used to scare me a little bit as a player. And actually, I remember a kid I coached here in American Falls, I won't mention his name, when he was young, he'd always open his hips and try to slowly go back this way, okay? Cost us a couple touchdowns. Once in a big game, he did it. He'd been working in practice, and he opened the right way, and he knocked the pass away. So he built that habit over years, and a split second, it made a difference in that game, to our team, to him as a player, in that competitive moment. For you guys, wow, I haven't been coaching in a while, I'm out of breath. For you guys, if you've made habits about, I'm always going to say no to drugs. I'm always going to be proactive and honest. I'm always going to put first things first. It can, when you build those habits, days and days and years, in a split second, your habits can pay off, all right? So do you remember the 7? Last year, you seemed to be pretty good. I do want to remind you of a couple terms. Remember, before you talk habits, you better make sure you know what paradigms are, your perspectives, your points of view on the world. They're like pairs of glasses, and they can be blurry. So if you have a faulty paradigm that something is a little off, that whatever it may be, you may need to switch out that pair of glasses before you ever worry about habits. And he also talks about how watch out for what your center is. All those things around there, work, school, parents, friends, all good things, but if you put them in the center of your life, your most important thing, it can be a problem. He says, Covey, that principles, not principals like me, or people might call them values, honesty, hard work, whatever, those should be at the center of who you are, not these other people and what they're going to tell you. Okay, so paradigms, principles, remember those. Habit 1, be proactive. Know that in your circle of control and influence is what you should focus on, all right? So-and-so's jibber-jabbering over here, and you're not getting enough likes on your social media. Focus on what you can control, what happens to you and your response to it, all right? We just need to be proactive and focus on that. Habit 2, begin with the end in mind. Don't be a wanderer, have goals. That's why you wrote those in your agenda for the trimester. From there, habit 3 is put first things first. So you've made your goals. Now it's talking about how you get along to that goal. What are the things that you have to do daily to make that happen? All right? So that's the big rock demonstration that we watched a video of or try to do in person sometimes, where you put a lot of small rocks in first. Those are symbolic of the things that aren't really important. And you put those in, and then you try to put these big rocks on top, and they don't fit in whatever cylinder you're trying to put them in. If you put the big things on top, the important things, your family, okay, whatever it is that you've deemed important to you, you put those in first, you'll have time for them, okay? If you waste time, it's going to be a little bit harder. And the older you get, time will be at a premium. If you don't remember this time matrix, I wish I could print that off. Maybe I should have put that in your agenda this year, of talking about focusing on things that are important and hopefully not urgent right now, okay? Because then you're procrastinating. So if you've got a big thing coming up, a test or whatever, that's in the important category, but don't wait till it's urgent. Do it a couple days early. And if you live in that time quadrant, you'll be fine. If you're always procrastinating or waiting till the last minute or just wasting time, the time management's going to be a little rough. And trust me, the older you get, it feels like there's not enough hours in the day sometimes. All right? From there, habit 4 is think win-win. Remember, habits 1 through 3 are the personal victory. You're worried about yourself and the personal bank account, as we call it. 4 through 6 deal with other people and how you relate to them. So the first thing is, it's not all about you or lose-win, and you're saying that, or win-lose, that if I win, these suckers are going to lose. Hey, you're thinking that, yes, I want to do well and achieve my goals, but I can bring other people along with me, kind of like those beavers, those builders, leaders and achievers. All right? Habit 5 is seek first to understand and then to be understood. If Miss Foster is going to come in and make a cameo, maybe she just walked back in her room. And that's listen first, all right? If you're just running your mouth all the time, last year when we talked about this habit, you're gonna learn less if your mouth is always moving, all right? You literally can't really learn as you're talking. So when you meet new people, you're listening to a teacher, when you have a friend, when you have a family member who's reaching out to you, try first to understand their point of view. And then, of course, it's important that you're an assertive communicator as well at the end, and you make yourself heard. But don't do that first. You know people who are like that, oh, it's always got to be where they want to go for lunch, or it's got to always be their way, whatever it may be. Listen first, and then talk afterwards, all right? Habit 6 is kind of going along with thinking win-win. This is the ultimate form of synergy. That's why I like the geese flying and the flying V there. I think of, we have some sports teams I've seen this year, and the 8th grade volleyball team is doing well. I haven't been able to see soccer or cross country. The 8th grade football team right now is synergizing, baby. Okay, they're doing well because they're all on the same page. They're not about, is it me? They're taking the best of everybody and making something better. Remember that 1 + 1 can technically equal 3 when you take the best of everybody and make it this better product. So synergize, the ultimate form of teamwork. Finally, habit 7 returns to the self. Sharpen the saw. Be at your sharpest and best, and stay most effective by focusing on making sure that those 4 quadrants of yourself, mind, soul, heart, and body, are taken care of and nourished, and you're doing the things to take care of yourself that you need to do. I know that I talked about the things that make me better. I think I get to go to a movie theater this weekend for the first time in a long time, and that helps me be at my best and be refreshed because it's a thing I like to do. So don't be afraid to avoid burnout and take care of yourself, all right? Speaking of burnout, as we wrap things up, these are sort of the 7 defective habits. And I think of like in a bizarro world, the habits we wouldn't want you to have. So I thought of the upside down in Stranger Things, okay? So the opposite of those flip sides is you're not going to be proactive, you're going to react. 2, no end in mind, you're just wandering, okay? 3, all the not important things, you put last things first, so then you're wasting time instead of focusing on your priorities. Think win lose are those ultra competitive people, seek first to talk, running their mouth all the time, probably not that fun to talk to. 6, they're not collaborators or teamwork. They're not worried about synergy. They are just making sure that they're doing their thing. And then finally, 7, if you're not sharpening the saw, you're going to get burnt out. So, of course, we want, as we build the foundation for your 6 important decisions, we want you to have good habits, but know of what the bad habits are as well. And here's I went backwards, excuse me. I do that in RealPod too. Here's your words to end on and think on, all right? The quote says, bad habits are like a comfy bed, easy to get into, hard to get out of. You may not know that you've got some defective habits right now, by Ms. Foster, and some things that are not going to be very effective for you. It makes me think of, and I've never actually done this because it seems weird, but they say that if you put a frog in a pot of water, start boiling, he doesn't pop out right away because he doesn't feel it, so eventually he'll just be stuck, okay? So you may be developing some bad habits on that spectrum of the 7 that we talked about, and you may not know it. All right, so hopefully that was a good reminder of the 7 habits. Next week we'll hop into our big decisions, and remember, get a petition, and let's see who the leaders are in the group for your 8th grade year, your last year at WTMS. It'd be interesting to see who responds to my challenge. Talk to you guys soon. Have a good day.